I want to talk to you a little bit more about when you're writing your paper and give you a few more pointers that should hopefully help in conjunction with what you've done in the first part of our writer's workshop today. And that is when you are picking a subject and you are picking a topic, you have to decide, are there things, I'm sorry, two things that I can talk about in this paper that are going to be interesting and worth teaching Mr. Hill about, right? If it's boring, don't write about it. So I would recommend going to one of your siblings and asking them, is this interesting? And if they say no, change it. Okay. That's the first thing. Ask yourself the question, is this interesting? Okay. If it's not interesting, it's not good. Don't rely on yourself. Ask someone else. Check this for me. Is this interesting? Is this topic interesting? Do that before you start doing any in depth research because now you know from the beginning, oh, if I want to talk about uh, animals in Brazil and I choose a seagull, that's not really exciting. There are seagulls in near pretty much every body of water that you find on the coast, right? And if I'm using seagulls, I'm like, oh, well, seagulls eat fish. There's a lot of animals that eat fish. That's not exciting. That's not something interesting or new information that you're presenting about this animal. And therefore, it comes off as really boring. Don't use that. The next question you should ask yourself is, does this make sense? You are only in fifth grade. I know you're in fifth grade. I don't expect you to write like me. I expect you to write like a fifth grader, especially at the beginning of the year. I don't need fancy, complex sentences. What I need is for you to tell me what you know in very clear terms. You are not going to lose points for word choice at this point of the year. All I want you to do is tell me something in simple terms. Now, how can you know if that's done right? Well, you go in, you sit with the family member, and you read to them. You read to them what you wrote down, and you read to them exactly what you wrote, word for word. You're not allowed to skip over words or say what you meant to write, because when I read it, I won't have the luxury of being able to call on you and say, hey, Bob, can you tell me what you meant by this sentence? All I have is those words. And if you can't understand what you wrote or why its purpose is there, I won't be able to know. Okay, so those are the two questions you have to ask yourself. And this next point is probably the most important point. I probably should have started with this, but you have to make sure when you're writing a paragraph that everything in that paragraph ties into your topic sentence. Paragraphs are used to separate different ideas of thought. Like when you're first taught how to write a paragraph, we're given the recommendation of 3 to 5 sentences. But you don't just change after 3 to 5 sentences and move to the next paragraph for no reason. You do that because usually in those 3 to 5 sentences, you have a complete thought. So if I'm talking about LeBron James and I want to do a paragraph about him being a champion, everything I write in that article should be about him being a champion. Every single thing that I write needs to be about that. And if it's not, then there's a problem with what I'm writing. Okay, so please make sure that you are following those guidelines. It's uber important. I'm going to make another quick video going over a little bit of the changes that I made to the writing assignment, and that should be up uh, no later than 9:30 with the processing and things on YouTube. Well, good luck, and I look forward to seeing you guys, and hopefully this helps us with our writing.